Hello and welcome to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Joining me in the studio today is my co-pilot, Jeff Harding. Jeff, how's it going today?
I'm clear for takeoff.
Excellent, excellent. Clear skies.
Yes.
Runway's good.
Yeah, beautiful, clear sailing ahead.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm glad that I could be here with you today. It's a great day.
It is. It's a wonderful day. Glad to be here.
That being said, I'm now going to talk about something that nobody likes to talk about.
Diarrhea?
No, although that would fit into the category of something that no one likes to talk about.
I don't like to talk about.
Yeah, no, this one is even worse than that, although that's a bad one. The big C word. Cancer.
Oh, cancer.
Yeah, see, no one likes to talk about that.
I was going to guess constipation.
Yeah, so you're going down the wrong road there.
I am.
Let's get your mind out of the sewer. Literally.
Yes.
So really, I mean, cancer, it's a subject that most of us, we don't want to talk about.
Right.
It's not a fun one.
It's
an unpleasant topic for sure. But it's important that we're informed.
That's right.
And I've got a few things that I think are important that I want to just talk about. Skin cancer is the most common form of cancer in the United States. Mm-hmm. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 20% of Americans will develop skin cancer at some point in their lives if the trends continue.
Right.
Which is a lot of people.
That is.
A lot of people. So while not all skin cancers are deadly, melanoma, the most dangerous and the third most common kind, is extremely deadly if it's not found early.
Right.
They estimate that in the United States in 2016, about 76,000 new cases of melanoma will be diagnosed, and of those, 10,130 people are expected to die from the disease.
Wow, that's a lot.
So, I mean, really, that's a lot of people.
Especially since it's usually preventable.
Well, exactly, or at least recognizable.
Right, true.
And moving forward. So here's the
treatable.
Deal. That's it. That's the word. Melanoma is easy to treat if it's caught early enough. And it does provide, in many cases, signs that you could see and then talk to your doctor about: a mole, a blemish, some kind of a mark on your skin. So how do you tell if the mole is a problem? That's the question, right? So they say that if you remember the acronym ABCDE, that gives you a clue. Okay? So we're going to run through these letters. A stands for asymmetry. If one half of a mole looks different from the other, that's a sign. It's a warning sign. It's not a guarantee.
Right.
That doesn't mean that that's a problem.
Something you need to be concerned about.
But it's a warning sign. So if you have a mole that is asymmetrical, that's something that you want to be aware of. B stands for border irregularity. Irregular or poorly defined or even blurred borders can be a sign of melanoma. C is for color. Particularly dark or multicolored moles, they say, are a sign, a signal it might be risky, something you ought to be concerned about. D stands for diameter. Moles that are larger than pencil erasers are noteworthy, and though melanoma can be smaller, usually it's the larger ones that are a warning sign. And the last one, E, stands for evolution or change. So a mole that's changing in size, shape, or color is definitely one that should be checked out.
Right. And we need to remember also that it's just not the moles on our face or the front, that we need to worry about the ones behind us in our back.
Everywhere. Absolutely. So if anything seems amiss, or if you're unsure whether a mole is risky or not, it's a good idea to see a dermatologist.
Right.
Just go into the doctor. A dermatologist will be able to spot reasons for concern much more easily than the rest of us who are uninitiated might be able to. They recommend that you don't just assume and try to diagnose yourself. Assume that you're in the clear. It's best to get anything that seems out of line. It's best to get checked out.
Well, and you mentioned dermatologist. That's even important when you consider that you think that your GP is going to know, but your GP is not a specialist,
right?
So you really want to get the best care you can, so you want to go see the dermatologist.
Absolutely. And there is some action that we can and should take on our own part. The American Academy of Dermatology recommends that you conduct a monthly self-examination, taking notes of the moles you already have on your body, and then carefully examining any new ones that show up. And as you said, Jeff, it's not just the ones that are, on your arms or on your front or on your face, the ones you can see. You need to check your back and, the backs of your legs and things like that. So you can get a partner to help you out in those areas.
Actually, they actually have mole mapping that they do, where they'll come in if you have a history of it.
And
they'll take pictures of all your moles, of all your skin, your epidermal, so they can actually look to see if there's any changes in the moles.
For that evolution, right? Which is a great idea. They say that spotting skin cancer early is essential because that means the cancer can be removed before it spreads. Most skin cancers are caused by exposure to ultraviolet light from the sun. We know that. And we live in St. George, at least, in an area that's very sun-prone, so we need to be aware of that. People with lighter skin that burn easily are more susceptible to various skin cancers, though anyone's skin can be damaged by the sunlight. And they do have many screenings that focus on melanoma since it can spread much more quickly. If removed early, the cure rate is almost 100%.
Yeah.
That's why early is so important. But as the cancer spreads to nearby skin, lymph nodes, or internal organs, 5-year survival rates drop rapidly. So early is really important.
It is important.
If people are familiar with the warning signs and regularly examine their skin, along with visiting the doctor, the number of melanoma deaths could be much lower than it is. And that's kind of relevant to me because I've just recently, in the last several weeks, had 2 really good friends that were diagnosed with melanoma skin cancer. Now, thankfully, they both caught it early.
That's good.
They have removed it. They're clear, 100% cure rate in those cases. But boy, just 2 people that I know very well, good friends. Yeah. It's something that you worry about.
And there's something else about the sun that we don't always think about, and that's the higher the elevation, the greater the likelihood of those ultraviolet rays causing damage because there's less filtering of the rays. So people at sea level have a little less chance, and we have a little higher.
So people, keep your eyes open for these changes in your moles.
Right.
And keep an eye on that. And then, of course, just regular exams is a good idea. Well, wonderful. Today's guest is one of our incredible athletes at the Huntsman World Senior Games. Robin Haney is joining us by telephone from California. Robin has played a number of sports throughout her life, including volleyball, badminton, softball, and tennis, but has most recently fallen in love with pickleball. Robin, we're glad you could join us. Are you there?
I am. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, welcome to the show. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us, and we look forward to getting to know you a little bit better. So as I mentioned in your intro, you have played a number of sports throughout your life. Tell us a little bit about how you got into sports, and maybe what was your favorite sport growing up?
Well, I'm one of 6 kids, and when you grow up with that many brothers and sisters, it's natural that you're going to play sports together. So I started, you start playing softball on the street with your brothers, and then, you get into grammar school, junior high, and they have actual girls' sports. And oh, my goodness. So I discovered badminton at an early age, which was my favorite sport for a long time.
So
then in high school.
Wait, before you move into high school, you said that badminton was your favorite sport. That's an interesting one. We don't have a lot of people in the United States, at least, that play badminton. How did you get introduced to badminton?
Junior high, they had after-school sports. And actually, when I was a little kid, we had a badminton net in my backyard. And I was really short. And one of our paddles had broken. One of the rackets had broken. So it was short. And it was just right length for me. And my grandmother would rally with me. And I realized very quickly that, I'm pretty coordinated. This is kind of fun. And then they say in junior high, they actually had after-school sports. And badminton was one of the choices, and I went right for it. I loved it.
Oh, great. So you actually played competitive badminton. It wasn't just the backyard variety.
Well, yeah, I played in school, and then I played in some tournaments, and then in high school and also in college.
Fun. That's fun. A lot of people here in the States don't realize that badminton, next to soccer, is actually the second most popular sport, the most played sport in the world, and that's kind of skewed because of the Asian influence. A lot of people in Asia love the game, and there's a lot of people in Asia.
Yes,
period. Yes. And so a lot of people outside of the United States play, and there's there's some great leagues and some great competition here in the States as well. But that's fun that was one of the sports that you kind of gravitated to. So then you were going to say once you moved past junior high and got into high school, what became your sport of choice at that point?
Yeah, actually volleyball started to become more of an interest. I had always played, but in junior high, they really didn't teach you the game correctly. And then when I went to high school, I went out for the girls' team, and I made it. But then, you realize quickly, we need some work. We didn't even know enough to know that the girls' net was lower. Our coaches really didn't know. So luckily, the men's volleyball coach came in, and he taught us some things, and he taught us how to refine our technique. And that's when I really learned how to play. And I thought, okay. And it was, definitely different from what we had been doing. Well, then I started playing USBA tournaments with my friends, and lucky enough to go to nationals in 1982 with my friend's team, the Mavericks, and we we actually won the ladies seniors.
Well, congratulations!
Wow, great moment. I was pretty happy.
Yeah, that's great. I love how people have a different sports journey. Everybody has their own different journey and how they get through life, and how you weave your hobbies and your activities into it. But that's fun for me to hear that you kind of got a team together. You're on a team, but you're playing on the wrong height net. You didn't really know any of the techniques, but then once you picked it up, obviously those techniques made a big difference in your ability to play competitively.
Exactly. Well, it was interesting too. In my 30s, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, in my 30s, I had always played tennis, not competitively necessarily, but in my own way competitively. And there was this enormous rec park in El Segundo, California. And we went down there one night to play tennis. Couldn't get a tennis court. A volleyball court. And I said, well, what's that little bitty court over there? We've seen that. It's called paddle tennis.
Uh-huh.
Let's go try that. How hard can that be? And the next day I just threw my tennis racket away. And that was my progression to pickleball.
Interesting.
Because when I moved up to Lincoln, there was no paddle tennis anywhere. I was used to Venice Beach, where they have 13 courts, and all over the South Bay in Los Angeles, there's paddle tennis courts all over the place.
Yeah.
I played lots and lots of that. But then I move up here, and I'm like, oh no, I need my fix.
So, Robin, I have to confess some ignorance. I'm not very familiar at all with paddle tennis. I'm more familiar with pickleball. What are the big differences between the two sports?
The first difference is you use a depressurized tennis ball rather than a plastic ball. And the paddle literally is a paddle. It's much heavier. It's much larger. It's sort of in between a tennis racket and a pickleball.
Okay.
Like I said, the main thing is weight. Really notice the weight. They started out wood, and then they wood with holes, and now they've gone to composition. They're quite different now. The court is 25 by 50, which is larger than a
steeper.
Court. And the net is higher. Lower. It would need to be to keep that ball in play.
Oh, the net is lower.
And the major difference in the two sports, in pickleball, of course, you have the kitchen. You can't go into the kitchen to volley. But in paddle tennis, not only can you go in, you can stay there.
You can camp in the kitchen.
You serve and volley just like in tennis. You come behind your serve, volley, and instantly move to the net. And you can be exchanging volleys from as little as 3 feet away.
Wow.
So you've got to have fast hands.
Interesting. So for those who aren't familiar with the sport of pickleball, the kitchen area that you referred to, Robin, is the area right next to the net. And
it's like the first 10 feet from the net into the court.
Yeah. So people who are familiar with pickleball will know that you have to stay out of the kitchen. You're not supposed to hit the ball from inside that area. But with paddle tennis, that's fair game there, huh?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
That's what makes it so fun.
Well, it sounds like it would be a lot of eye-hand coordination that would need to be put into play when you're playing, well, both games actually. So
Absolutely.
Fun stuff. Yeah. Well, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we are visiting with Robin Haney, who is a multi-sport athlete, but most recently picked up pickleball and now plays and wins at the Huntsman World Senior Games, I might add, as well. So let me ask you this, Robin. You moved to a new area. There were no paddle tennis courts available to you. You found this kind of this ping sound, I'm sure, from pickleball. Was the transition hard to transition from one sport to the other?
The main difference was, of course, that the ball simply doesn't bounce as high as you expect. So there was just a few adjustments to, whoa, I have to bend a little lower.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the tennis ball, even though it's pressurized, still has a nice bounce to it.
And so
the ball was more dead.
Yeah, okay. So that would be an adjustment.
Other than that, it was easy.
So once you got the kind of the rhythm of the bouncing ball, you were ready to go.
Exactly.
Was it nice having less court to cover?
Oh, as a matter of fact, yeah, I have a kind of a dodgy knee from too many years of volleyball. So it makes it a little bit easier. I mean, think about it. 3 less feet is substantial.
It is.
Especially when those feet are behind you.
Yes.
Well, awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So you're now playing pickleball. You're making new friends, I'm sure. How did you hear about the Huntsman World Senior Games and get involved with pickleball at the games?
My partner, Andrea Mayorga, had gone 3 years ago, she heard about it. I don't know from whom, perhaps at a tournament. And she said, I'm going to go. And I couldn't go. My husband wasn't able to travel at that time. So I said, well, good luck, have fun. And she went there, and she managed to get a bronze. And I'm like, good job. She comes back, and she goes, we're going next year. I don't care what it takes. And I said, okay. So we did, and it had a blast.
And when was that? How long ago was that?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
This will be my third competition and her fourth.
And her fourth, great. Well, so as you probably know, and as many of our listeners know, pickleball happens to be one of the very popular sports at the Huntsman World Senior Games. You have to move quick in order to get into the tournament. We opened registration for pickleball at 12:01 a.m. on March 1st, and before 9 o'clock, before the office was actually open, we had reached our participation cap. People stayed up all night long to register. Obviously, you were one of those people who stayed up to register. How does it make you feel to know that you got in the tournament when so many others, unfortunately, have been turned away?
Well, to be honest, that particular night, I was in the emergency room with my husband. So I completely forgot. It wasn't on my mind. My partner was in bed. Neither one of us remembered. And we got lucky. We got a waiting list for the women. So I did get into the skill level. But I'll tell you, a lot of people were very upset. And that's been the topic of subject of conversation for some months now.
Well, we have heard a lot of that conversation at our office for sure, and it's it's one of those tricky things. We certainly do not like to turn people away. We would love to accommodate everybody to come and play and be a part of the games. And pickleball is such a great and fast-paced and such an exciting sport. And unfortunately, we're just limited by the number of hours that we have in a day and the number of courts that we have to play on. And we're so happy to accommodate those that we can get in, and those that don't. Boy, we wish that we could, but it kind of is what it is.
Robin, outside of pickleball, what are your favorite aspects of the Huntsman World Senior Games?
The social aspect of it, absolutely. You just go and you just strike up conversations with people from all over the country, sometimes from other parts of the world. And the last time I was there, it's funny, I was walking around, kept hearing a name from my past, a paddle tennis name. And I went, there's no way that's going to, it's got to be him. And I kept listening to see which court he was on, and I finally went over there, and I stood there. I mean, this was the fellow that he and his brother used to play paddle tennis. I would watch them. They were amazing athletes, open players in their 20s. And I just stood by his court, watching his game, and he kept glancing over, and he finally, at the end of the game, he comes over and he says, is that you, Robin? I'm like, oh, Mikey. His name is Mike. Oh, and he's an open player. He's an amazing athlete. But it was just great. I mean, I haven't seen this kid in 20 years. And there he is. So it's like old home week.
You were able to reconnect on the pickleball court.
And then you not that it to see the various levels of play, and you realize, you block in the thing, pretty good. And then you go, I can work. And everybody is so gracious. I think it's the ultimate good sports competition. Everyone is just very, very gracious. I just had a blast. I can't wait to go back.
Well, that's great. Well, that's one of the things that we, as organizers, love about the games as well. We hear so often from people that they come to the games the first year because they've heard about the competition, and by the second year, they're coming back for the social aspect, like you said, Robin. And it really is the people that make it great. And your story is fun. It's fun to hear, but it's also very typical of our athletes. They run into people that they competed against in other places, or they make new friends, and they come back the next year and are able to, reconnect and rekindle that friendship. And it really becomes, in a lot of ways, just like a family reunion.
It is. A couple of years ago, I was at the mountain biking social, and I heard a name announced for a medal winner, and it was a kid I'd gone to high school with. And I look over him. He's bald now. He shaved his head. He basically looked the same, except he didn't have any hair. He had long hair in high school. And, of course, being an employee of the games, my name's out there. So he knew who I was. He was just sitting there waiting, kind of like you were, to see how long it would take for me to recognize him.
That was difficult, too. I even run into old friends from volleyball, which is really great, because I've been playing volleyball since I was 18.
Yeah. Well, it's great.
it was so nice.
It's a great social event.
I wanted to mention also, one of the reasons that we're able to be there and have such a great time is all the amazing volunteers from St. George. And they couldn't be more gracious or helpful. And, everyone in my group was, wow, that's about a well-run event. Also, it was fabulous. I just want to thank them.
Well, that is for sure. We definitely, without the volunteers and the wonderful people who come out and support, mostly from St. George, but even from other areas as well, there's just no possible way to put together an event like the Huntsman World Senior Games without that group. So you are right on. They're gold.
They are, absolutely.
So, Robin, you've kind of played sports your whole life, it sounds like. I'm just curious, as someone who has been playing their whole life and has enjoyed the active life, really enjoyed that concept of I'm going to be out there and I'm going to be a part of it and enjoy sports and health and wellness. What advice would you have for somebody who maybe isn't right now being active, but kind of wants to and, is just waiting for the right opportunity? What would you tell that person?
Well, first of all, I tell them don't wait. Because, like with anyone, you don't know what's coming up in life. Don't wait. Get out there and find something. Even if it's something as simple as, like, line dance. Just get out there and get active and, find a way to, locate a group that does what you want to do. Or maybe something that you didn't think you were interested in, but give it a try. Try new things. And, you never know what's going to catch your interest. And then the next thing you know, people are always surprised, but wow, look how good I've gotten. And more than that, look how much fun I'm having, how great I feel. I mean, it's a life lengthener.
That is great, Robin. You are right on. You are right on. And that's really why we host the games. That's why we put the games on. And, it's why we, as members of the staff, love what we do, because you get an opportunity to have that impact on people, on individuals, and really make their life better, which is,
absolutely
pretty awesome. Well, awesome. So you're in the games this year. You're planning on coming. Which events did you get signed up for pickleball?
Well, luckily, my partner for mixed doubles was on the ball.
Okay.
And also in your time zone.
Which helps.
Which helps. So he got me into the mix. So we'll be playing mixed again. And we'll be playing in the women's doubles in the age division. No,
awesome.
skill division.
Well, Robin, that's great. We wish you the very best. That's about all the time that we have, but thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your story, and the best of luck this October at the Huntsman World Senior Games.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Robin.
Well, Jeff, as we mentioned every week, registration is open for the Huntsman World Senior Games. If you're interested in becoming an athlete like Robin, now is the time.
Do it.
Visit www.seniorgames.net and register today for the sport of your choice. As we've mentioned throughout the show, pickleball is closed. Bowling has also reached its participation cap. We've had to close to new softball teams and new volleyball teams, but there's still lots of sports that are available.
Sure.
We have over 4,700 athletes that have registered.
Which is amazing.
In the variety of sports. We have 30 different sports to choose from, but don't wait. Now is the time to register. The 2016 dates for the Huntsman World Senior Games are October 3rd through the 15th, and we just make plans to come and be a part of it.
Sure.
It's going to be a great year this year. We continue to celebrate our 30th anniversary. 30-year anniversaries don't come around all that often.
No, once every 30 years.
That's right.
And then you're done. It doesn't happen again.
And then you don't have it again.
No.
So we are celebrating all year long. And you could be the beneficiary of our celebrations. We're giving away prizes all year long, including but not limited to registration fee waivers. We've already given away several this year so far. And if you'd like a chance to win, go to facebook.com/World Senior Games, like us, and then visit regularly for a chance to win, as well as to just keep up with what's going on in the games. Remember, you can listen to this and any previous episode of our podcast right from our website at www.seniorgames.net, or you can tune in next Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time on AM 1450 or FM 93.1 for the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. Our closing thought for the day from the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali: if your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. Until next Thursday, stay active.
Bye, everyone.